Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so we finished. Yes, we finished your erroneous interpretation of history. That is, we discussed it was the myth. And we just share the screen, please.
My video.
What video?
It was the initial video.
Yeah, the end of the class. Yeah, misinterpretation of history. That is what we were doing, where we discussed about Indian history. Where you wrote this? No. Okay. So this is written in short only. You can write it quickly. 2 minutes. Hindu history. Just write Hindu history, Muslim history. Rest you know it. Okay. Divided. Hindu history. Muslim history. How will it change? You'll do it. Page to this is first, second, page to interpret. Interpret what? Composite culture. Composite culture. Not developed. Communalism. I'm sorry. Ways to interpret composite culture. Please change. Don't write everything, just write it in short. Communalism, Hindu culture, ways to interpret, divided Indian history. That's all. Okay, so you can see the next point, which is there in your textbook. Open your textbook. Follow your textbook side by side. We finished erroneous interpretation of history. And now the next one is your rise of assertive nationalism. Okay. So what happened was that these assertive people, they were celebrating festivals. Okay, just like everybody does, they were also celebrating festival. And when they were celebrating festival, somewhere the community felt hurt. Why? Because they said that whatever festivals are being celebrated are of Hindus. And even though that was not supposed to be highlighted, because during those times, those were the first festivals which are supposed to be, during those months and during those times, supposed to be celebrated. So that was the reason. However, Britishers put this in the mind of the Muslims that, because now you can see that this is such a Hindu society, Britishers say that this is such a Hindu society that they are only focusing on Hindu religion. That is, they are only focusing on the Hindu festivals. Why are they not celebrating the Muslim festival? However, this was not true, but this is what a misrepresentation of history is all about. That you represent in such a way that the person feels that it's true. Right? So you can see the rise of assertive nationalism. They say somewhere the speech and actions did hurt the feelings of the Muslims. That's number one. Second, propagation of the Shivaji and Ganpati festivals, the more of Ganpati festivals. Like today, Ganpati is one of the, prominent, I would say, the festival which is celebrated in Maharashtra. But that doesn't mean that they don't respect other communities, right? The community is still respected. But when you go to North India, even now Britishers are not here, right? We don't have Hindu-Muslim issues. But still, this is there. That in North India, Diwali is being celebrated in such a way that, it's much above any other festival. But that doesn't mean they don't respect others. So same thing was happening during those times also. But it was represented in such a way that the every blame went to the assertive nationalists. Even today, this is happening. So this is what you can see. Aurobindo's concept of India as mother and nationalism as religion. So again, bringing the feeling of disunity. And the fourth one is that how they had dips in Ganga and all these things. So that is as anti-partition movement. Again, they emphasize that this is Ganga, it's not something else. That's Hindu. They referred it as Hindu. Are we clear with this? So you can just see in your textbook also, you can underline. The speeches, first line, fifth line of the paragraph, rise of assertive nationalism, speeches and actions of some assertive nationalists annoyed some sections. For example, propagation of Shivaji and Ganpati, Aurobindo's Ghosh concept of India as mother, nationalism as religion, initiating of anti-partition agitation did not appeal to some of the Muslims. So in short, we'll write it down. You can just write on the heading, rise of assertive or whatever the heading is in your textbook. Yeah, rise of assertive nationalism. This is a very general line, the first one. Examples are important. Or you can just write speech and actions or Muslims. So how? How did it hurt? First thing, what did they do? Propagation of Shivaji and Ganpati. That's number one. Second, concept of India as mother. Aurobindo is important. Aurobindo's concept of India as mother. Third, initiating Anti-partition through what? Tips. Are you all clear? Guys? Keep following your textbook, that's most important. Keep reading. If you find any difficulty, tell me now. Can I drop this?
Yes.
Now think about it, how economic backwardness of the country leads to issues in our country. Why? Think about it. How economic backwardness, since we are economically backward, economically is money. Okay, economic backwardness leads to what? Economic backwardness in what sense? What is economic backwardness? That leads to unemployment. But what is? I'm sorry. In terms of modern industrial development. Okay. So does this leads to lack of modern industrial development?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Lack of economic backwardness leads to modern industrial development. Then what happens because of that? Help her out. Come on. Okay, modern industrial development. So it leads to, my dear, this leads to what did you say? Unemployment. She said they say unemployment. Okay, lack of unemployment, then lack of unemployment leads to what? Leads to what?
Competition among the youth to secure jobs.
Exactly. If you have unemployment today, what is happening in India? You have so many people graduating, you don't have jobs. That is why there is exploitation. Why is there exploitation? Exploitation happens when you have so many people graduating from the same. There's no exploitation in other countries because you have less people graduating. So that leads to competition amongst the youth. Then what happens?
Demand reservation and jobs on the basis of caste, creed, and religion.
Why this demand comes in? Because you have competition. You don't have jobs. For one job, 10 people are standing. 10 is a very small number, I said. 100 people are standing for one job. Right? That leads to
demand for jobs.
You know economics, right? How demand supply works. This is what they're saying. Demand per job.
In caste, fields of caste, creed, and religion.
This leads to more of caste system. Demand for job reservation, bracket, caste system. Clear with the logic?
Yes.
Then, if there is caste system, then what happens? Divide and rule. Do you think so? Now they blame whom? Britishers. Britishers blame your economic backwardness, right? However, they said caste system, look at your caste system in India, but technically they are the ones who are responsible for this economic backwardness. We were not poor. So what's her name?
Shreya.
So Shreya has drawn a flowchart Check if you guys are comfortable. You want changes, tell me. One day, 24 hours, right? Mostly. I can check. I don't think so. I made. Check your, read your textbook, economic backwardness also, side by side. After this, we are left with the first point, loss of sovereignty. We missed that point, okay? We'll do that. Can I explain in the first point? Loss of sovereignty? Yes, sure. So all are ready?
Is last.
Right, last. That up?
Yes.
Okay. Lack of sovereignty. What is the sovereignty? By Mughal rulers, what does that word mean? Sovereignty. It's simply
What was the
meaning of sovereign. Sovereignty of private
freedom?
like control. Control power, yes. Okay, so over here, basically what you have to understand is same point. They say that somewhere Mughals, that is this people, that is the Mughal Empire, Mughal rulers believed that we lost our control, we lost our base in our country, and they blamed Britishers for that. They said that we were the ones, of course not the Mughals, Jahangir and all those people. Technically, they say that the people of India were the ones who allowed, who welcomed you. Okay, you gave you permission to set up factories, did not take taxes from you, did not give you whatever you wanted, welcomed you, but you ruled us, and they started blaming. But Britishers, in a way, were blaming Muslims. They said you lost everything because you participated in the revolt of 18. You lost it because you participated in the Wahhabi movement. There was a Wahhabi movement also, which had happened, anti-British movement. So technically, if Muslims were very much against Britishers, that you are racially, mistreating us and all these things, you're not giving us jobs and all these things, but Britishers put the blame on them only, that you lost it because of yourself, not because of us. This is what the crux they talk about. So you can underline in your textbook. Britishers established supremacy in India after dethroning the Mughal rulers who were the followers of Muslim Islam. So you can underline the third line. They participated in the Wahhabi movement aimed at ending British dominion of India. Took part in the uprising of 1857. This is what made the Britishers view them with suspicion. And they held them responsible for the uprising of 1857. That's why they were always judging them, consciously looking and all these things. And after 1870s, the British government changed its attitude. And which sowed the seeds, last lines, which sowed the seeds of dissension between the two communities and encouraged separatist and communal tendencies. In short, first thing, what happened? First thing which happened?
British established the rule in India.
British
Established the rule in India.
supremacy in India. So who were dethroned?
Mughals.
Mughals dethroned. After that, what happened? No, my dear. Mughals dethroned. Then, because they were dethroned, they participated in Wahhabi plus revolt. So since they participated in Wahhabi and revolt, how are Britishers seeing them? Who's that? What?
They saw that Britishers thought that Muslims were like suspicious.
Achha. Yes. Yes. Participated in Wahhabi plus revolt, British saw with suspicion. After that, what happened?
Then the first war of India.
Not important. 1870s. British
government changed
changed the why? Why did they change?
Because it was suspicious for them that.
No, my dear. Why? Nothing is suspicious from them. Why would somebody change the view? Because they want you.
They want them to participate.
One thing, yes, that is very logical thing. But the basic problem was that if I am, Britishers are already against Muslims, right? Now Muslims are against Britishers. Hindus are already against Britishers. There is an INC issue which is already going on. Now they are saying we cannot have everyone fighting against us. Then we'll be out of the country. Rather, let them fight.
Yes, so they separated the
Exactly. So they said, let's just change the attitude with Muslims. Policy of appeasement will follow. Britishers change view. Policy of appeasement means come together. You come with me, Muslims and Britishers come together. Let's fight against you. Simple strategy solved. Got the logic? So Britishers changed view. And what did they start looking at Muslims? What's the word? Policy of appeasing.
Yes. Policy of appeasing the Muslims.
Appeasing, you understood now? And if Muslims' policy of appeasing happens, then you are undermining the national movement. You are not what he said it, you are undermining the revolt of 1857. If not exactly 1857, a movement like 1857. Okay. Undermining national movement. Please write it down so that you remember.
back being
Bringing it down. Bringing it down.
This is not literal good. Literally, how you can say it, but a better way.
Appeasing, come together, appease. Forget about all the issues and we can mend up the relationship. It's not a literal, but it refers to this in historical terms. Yes. Can I rub it? Tuesday, you bring your notebook, doing all the work. Okay, take anyone's notebook, this boy, anyone, this boy, everyone writes, I guess, most of them you also write. Okay, or any of the girls. Okay, and if it is not completed till here, then I'm calling your mother. Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Yes, Saturday. Half this Saturday, half you can complete it by next. Half of it you can complete it by this Saturday. Growth of nationalism. You'll start from growth of nationalism. Growth of nationalism, first phase.
Exactly.
Second phase. Okay, after this, guys, we have boys and girls. Quickly look at your textbook, page number 63. This is not in the scope, we are not doing it in detail. This is events that led to the formation of, leading to the formation of Muslim League. So you can see Hindi Urdu controversy. We discussed this language issues.
Yes.
Yeah. Second, foundation of Mao, that is Mohammed Anglo-Oriental Association. Aligarh politics, there was this movement that is, they were instilling in the minds of the Muslims the loyalty towards the British. Okay, that's your Aligarh movement, partition of Bengal. Remember partition of Bengal? Who did the partition of Bengal? Lord. Muslim deputation to Viceroy Lord Minto. Then how they were being employed. Then you come to formation of the Muslim League. Who was the proposal to form this, and who was when was it set up and under whose presidentship? Nawab Salimullah. And who was elected as the permanent president? Permanent president of Muslim League. Girls. Aga Khan. Okay, aims and objectives is there in the scope. We'll do it. What is this? Just go back, please. That's the information. Okay, we can just see from here. Hindi versus Urdu. Everyone clear now? How Hindi became a court language and how and Congress became more popular than Mao. President, who is the president after Sir Syed Ahmad Khan? Nawab. Simple person. And Nawab to resign, Muslim decided to form a political party. Next slide. Muslims in East Bengal was happy for what? Boys at the back. Muslim in East Bengal happy to have independence day and supported the partition of Bengal. Who announced more representation? Lord Minto. Muslims decided to address the Viceroy. Next, please. And these were the demands. Representation to Muslim. Ask for. See, what was happening was that the strength of Muslims were less. That's why they used to say Hindu majority, because the strength was less. But they said that doesn't mean that you will judge, you will give us position as per our strength. We want based on our political importance. We are politically important. That is what they wanted. They wanted separate electoral constituencies. And what was the preference should be given? To whom? To Muslims. Reservations of seats for Muslims. And they wanted some public universities for Muslims. Scroll down. And you can all see president who was then this organized a political party. When was it organized? December 1906. And where did they meet? Dhaka. And what did they form? Centrally all India. Who became the president? Permanent president. Headquarters. Central office. Party constitution Karachi. First session in December 1908. Who was the session chairman? Okay, these things can come in your exam. This thing came 3 years back, but that time also this was not in the scope. Okay, so we are doing this, we are writing this because we don't want to take risks. So you can just write it down. Don't change the slide, please. You can just write. Yes, that's what happened. The aims and objectives there. So they may ask that just for the safer side. Muslim League. Please write it all India Muslim League. All India Muslim League. Year 1906. And met at Dhaka. These 4 things, please write it down in your notebook. President, permanent president, headquarters, central office. That's all. And this thing, what I wrote. Yes. Nothing else. Just to be on the safer side. When was it formed? If, for example, question comes. Can we? Will you what? You give me your notebook first, then I. Yes. Okay, now aims and objectives of the Muslim League. You scroll down, please. Next slide. Aims and objectives. So these are the aims and objectives of the Muslim League. That why you exactly need Muslim League. That is, you support British government and earn a good rapport with them. Okay. Rapport in the sense that and protect and advance the political rights of Muslims, maintain peace between the Muslims and other communities. Look at your textbook once. The objectives were laid down to promote among the Muslims of India the support for the British government to remove any misconceptions, to protect and advance the political rights and interests of the Muslims, and to prevent the rise of feeling of hostility. Maintain peace is basically that only. Okay, so these are the keywords: to promote, to protect, and what is the other keyword? To prevent. Use your common sense. What do they want to promote?
You Muslim.
Okay, promote among the support for British government. To promote among the Muslim support for British government. To promote support. Amongst whom?
British government.
No, my dear.
Amongst the Muslims.
Amongst Muslims.
To support British government.
Yes. It's common sense. I'm not writing among Muslims because it is for Muslim League. Support the British government. For what? Why do they want to support? Why do they want that thing to come in with Muslims? That they support British government to remove any misconception. Okay. What type of misconceptions they were having?
Regarding the intention of the government.
Exactly.
In
You know,
relation
Wahhabi movement and all that stuff. Same thing. Second, what do they want to protect?
political rights and interests of Muslims.
Very good. Protect and advance the rest of the Muslims to the government, mild and moderate language. Political rights. To prevent what? The feeling of hostility. Don't write it from the slide because this is the better keyword. That didn't include keywords in my slide. Protected ones, I did. Maintain peace. This is better. Now watch that would prevent the feeling of hostility.
Oh, that's it. Oh, sweet. So much.
As if you were laughing. Done? Feeling of Okay, now the next thing is impact of hostility. Okay, you can see the impact. What happened after the Muslim League? See the first thing. More importance. More importance to
Political representation
then
and welfare of the Muslims.
yes, and then this reforms came in. I know I'm not making it right. Parliamentary reforms formed the separate electorate for the Muslims. Third, we had this war, and they criticized the British for such policies on the Khilafat movement. Khilafat I'm not covering right now. It's not there in Muslim League much. It's there in the next chapter, Mahatma Gandhi. I'll do it then. Okay. Then you have this partition of Bengal. Young member of the League disliked the loyalty to the British.
What is that?
There was a war which happened in that region, Balkan region. That will also be done in First World War. No? That's the reason, that's what. And then you have this Lucknow Pact. Okay, this is in the scope, Lucknow Pact. Okay, come to page number. You don't have that?
No, I only significant.
Yeah. Guys, see this line, page number 66, the Lucknow Pact. Can you see the first three lines? The period during the First World War. When did this First World War happen? 1990. Was of intense nationalist political activity. And the events during the war, what happened? The events during the war were responsible for signing of the Lucknow Pact. Were responsible for the signing of the Lucknow Pact. So, if the question comes, which event was responsible for the signing of the pact between Congress and Muslim League? What would be right? First World War. First World War. When did this First World War happen? 1940. Okay, this is not there in your syllabus. You can check circumstances, international events, national events, changes, terms of the Lucknow Pact. So you can see clauses of the Lucknow Pact. You can see minorities, limitation, viceroy. Nothing is there in your syllabus. Now directly we are supposed to do the significance of the Lucknow Pact. Why is this Lucknow Pact so important? Please write down. Last topic of the day. Last topic of the day, and then review.
Time.
We have time. It's 1:35.
30 minutes is in it.
Yeah, it just takes 10 minutes. Last topic. What is that is that streaming on YouTube. This one, we can't make the video. Yeah. Not streaming on YouTube. It wasn't, it was recorded. Write down Lucknow Park.
Psychopath.
Lucknow Park, what leads to?
Congress.
No, which event? First one, like this leads to what? This is okay, this is clear? Have you written? Congress plus Muslim League. Congress plus Muslim League means a pact. Okay, which pact? Lucknow pact. Right, in the last 10 minutes. Yes, dear. Just the important things I make it right. Done? Okay, now see the first point. Okay, the first one is significance of the Lucknow Pact, Hindu-Muslim unity. So what is this Hindu-Muslim unity? What did this symbolize? Joint scheme which has happened. What does this symbolize? Of course, the Hindu-Muslim unity, but what for? Okay, yes, like coming together for together national movement. Yes, yeah, that's correct. Correct. Underline this. Underline the second line. Both the communities, boys, both the communities agreed to compromise in some areas for common good. And by accepting the scheme of separate elections for Muslims, and the Muslim League accepted the principles of election and the majority rule. Now, the basic thing is that till now, Hindus and Muslims were not working together. We know it. There were issues. That's why they were formation of Muslim. Now, what happened is that they wanted to bring them together. So to bring them together, both the communities had to adjust in certain ways. So Muslims wanted separate electorate system, and Hindus wanted that we are majority and we want the majority system. Both of them compromised, both the communities. Both the communities compromised that you want separate electorate, you take your separate electorate, we want majority, let us take our majority. That is known as Hindu security. And through this pact, through this Lucknow pact, both the communities came together to compromise and agree on certain things. Are you clear with this? Please explain Hindu Muslim unity with me. Yeah, just now explain, repeat. Quickly, who can explain? You can explain. In the Muslim unity, what did I explain? What did they say?
The Congress and the Muslim, they came.
Not Congress, Hindu and Muslim.
Yeah, Hindus and Muslims, they came together, and the Muslims also accepted the majority of the Hindus.
And Hindus accepted separate sectors. So technically, both of them compromised to come bring the unity, right? So you can just write down in your notebook Hindu Muslim unity and write it in short. You can underline what you have to write. Communities agreed. Hyphen, you can put compromise. Underline the keywords, please. Communities agreed. Underline the keywords. First point, significance, like Hindu Muslim unity. Communities agreed to compromise. Secular character. Congress secular character. Accepted the scheme of separate electorates for Muslim. Underline this. Accepted the scheme of separate electorates for Muslims. Muslim League accepted principles of election and the majority rule. That's all. As a result, what would happen? That both of them working together. So how they compromise? This question comes in exam. Why don't you keep quiet and let him write? You. He'll mark. You open your notebook and write it. Share. Write it. Muslim League, they back. There is that is written this last part. Last 10 minutes, not more than that. Take 2-3 minutes. Done? separate electorates and Hindu majority. Secular character and secular character and separate electorates. Hindus, Muslims accepted separate electorates. You know what's wrong? Something is wrong here. Change the page. Yeah. It's written. Both the companies agree to compromise some areas. Congress compromised on the secular character by accepting the scheme separately. Muslim League accepted the principles election majority. But if you don't write this, you won't get this wrong. Okay. Don't write, that is better. You don't write wrong things. Okay? Not writing is better. What do we have to write? I just told you, it's underlined and you have to write that. Congress and the Muslim League attitude, how did they compromise? Everyone is writing. Girls, have you written?
Yes.
Congress and the Muslim League attitude? As in that, how did they compromise? Tell me this thing, after which event did the assertives and the early phase people split up? Which was the what was it? When did it happen? 1907. So the second point is unity within the Congress. So remember this thing, after Surat split, this thing happened, that is there was a split. But in Lucknow Pact, they both came together. Okay, so if they ask you that when did they come together? After Lucknow Pact, in Lucknow Pact. And that happened after Surat split. So this is what unity within the Congress. So obviously Congress will become stronger if assertives and moderates are both came together. Right? So you can just write it down in short, like in 2 lines. That's all. 2 words like how did they unite it? Just 5 more minutes of writing, then it's done. Okay. Girls, have you finished? Tired? Have some water. Can I proceed further?
Yes, ma'am.
Unity within the Congress is clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, after this, you have not written anything in unity within the Congress? Why? Is he talking? Everybody is written. You just have to write this thing that after Surat split, the split happened between them, and after Lucknow session, they both came together and Congress government. I mean, in your words, you can just mention. Third one is pressure on the government.
I'm going to on last slide.
They just third and fourth point. Why? Why would I increase in the syllabus? No, drawbacks not in the scope. Do you think so that now, girls, I just want to ask you things, so, and boys, I wanted to ask that do you think so the, like, for example, if early nationalists and assertive nationalists, and if Muslim League and Congress, if they all come together, if they are united, and all means those two, they come together, do you think so that it will be a big deal for Britishers now?
Yes.
Yeah. So will Britishers be able to deny them any political rights?
No.
They won't be able to do that. That is what happened. And after the Lucknow Pact, it created a pressure on the British government that now these guys, I mean, now these companies are, these political parties are together and things. So that is why they have to give them political rights. So that is the third point. So you can just write on the heading, pressure on the government. So you can just write in one line. Since last line, trust me, this girl is like, what? Sure. So since the assertives and the early phase people have come together, so you can write in your own words, okay? So you can read from your textbook, page number 68, pressure on the government, and frame in your own words. No, it's not there. Here. Pressure on the government, read this and just assertives and early phase moderates. So the assertives plus moderates. It's written moderates in your notebook. Whatever is written, you write in that. Early nationalists and Muslim League plus Congress. Created what? Pressure on British government, and which leads to political and constitutional reforms. Nationalists, Muslim plus Congress, that means coming together. Created pressure on British government leads to political and constitutional reforms. This is the third last point. One more point is there.
First you told that right Hindu Muslim, then you told
No, finishing chapter.
now you are saying pressure on government. Now you are saying
See, we are finishing chapter now. What's the time? It's 2. Till what I'm doing. So 5 minutes will go like this. 10 minutes, you guys recap. Done? No writing.
video.
And it's not playing the live streaming. Abhi, you don't touch anything. Wait, you don't touch anything. Necessity fast and waiting for you. Understand? Bless you. Yes.
What school he wrote on the aesthetic and everything.
Assertive plus early, Muslim League plus Congress. What I'm saying is don't leave your notes incomplete. Don't write this better. But when you write properly. He's taking a lot of time. So Muslim League done. You want to continue with what was the decision? First one was Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi. Saturday Mahatma Gandhi. Now you play. Patience. Copy. Escape. And we have to do the fourth point, last point. Necessity to pacify Indians. Wait for a minute. Okay, last point, guys. Then we're watching a video. Look here. 1 second. Necessity to pacify. Necessity to pacify. Patience. Patience. Yes, but right. Don't. Okay, guys, you keep talking, you'll miss out to your video because I'll finish the point. Necessity to pacify Indians. Look over here in your textbook. As the First World War continued, write it. As the First World War continued, the leaders of the Congress and the League impressed upon the British government that their demands should not be rejected if they wish Indians to be. I'm reading it. Read it. No, don't. Must be loyal. Okay, simple words. Write down the heading necessity. Last 2 minutes of writing. Leave her hair and write it. Necessity to pacify Indians. Indian. And under necessity, write down. Leaders impressed. Leaders of what? Leaders of what? Promised Britishers to be loyal. If they what? If they what? Why will they be loyal to British? If they give them all the constitutional reforms. You guys are don't answer only. Demands. Fulfill demands. Britishers. Constitutional reforms. Okay. And this is number 1. And number 2 is declaration. Last one. Declaration. When does this declaration happen? August 20, 1970. 70, which leads to
Gradual development of self-governance.
they pass the declaration of policy of graduate development. Quickly finish.
Finally, ma'am, and came up with last week.
Ma'am, lights off.
Volume.
Ma'am, lights. Ma'am,
I'm going to
Down. First phase, second phase.
First page.
All the values. After you write them down.